Thanks for checking out my video. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the Freshdesk to simPRO integration by SyncEzy. So it's a very simple integration, and the purpose of this is to send your Freshdesk tickets from your Freshdesk account to your simPRO account. So it's a simple application that will do three things. It'll create a quote, it'll convert a quote to a job, and it'll create a new job in simPRO from your Freshdesk account. So I'm going to show you how this works. The first thing I'm going to do is search for a customer using the email address in Freshdesk, and then it's going to use the same email to find the customer in simPRO. So let me walk you through the configuration first. We do have a detailed guide if you need some help with this. That'll be linked to in the Marketplace extension listing. So now this is a very simple configuration. And this is the administrator's email. And below that is just your Freshdesk URL, which comes before the .freshdesk.com. So in our case, it's SyncEzy/help. And then we have our Freshdesk API key, which we use for internal purposes, and we do have the instructions on how to get that. Then we have something called the default site ID. So what's the default site ID? The default site ID is basically the site that we need to use to revert, like a kind of fall back to in the event that your customer doesn't have a site associated with them. Now we added this because every quote or job in simPRO needs a customer and it needs a site. So our integration will search for the site linked to the customer. But if the customer doesn't have a site, we'll fall back on the default site option to create the quote. Now, this one is just the domain prefix of your simPRO account. So it will be something something.simprosuite.com. So in our case, it's SyncEzy.simprosuite.com. And we offer multi-company support in our extension. So here it's just a yes or no question. If you put yes, then you'll have to put your companies as well as the multiple default site IDs and the multiple companies. And if you put no, you'll have to put the one site ID and the one company. So for example, we put a yes here and we have two companies. So this is just the ID of the company. This you can find in simPRO by either switching the company, or you can go to the setup and you'll see the companies and setup. And our separation is done by comma. So in the event that your multi-company is no, you'll still have to use this format. But you can just delete this out and just put the company ID and the company name. So if you have only the one company and never used a multi-company setup, most of the time your company ID will be 0. And the next is a simple API key, and this is just the API key we need in order to communicate between Freshdesk and simPRO. And this is the default customer type. In the event that the email is not found in simPRO, using the email from Freshdesk will create a new customer for you. And we have two types of customers in simPRO: companies and individuals. And for now, we've put companies. And if you want, you can put individuals, and any new customer created will be by default set up as individual customers. The next and last one is the project type, called the default project type. So this is pretty much just a service or a project. So this will determine whether you want a service quote or a service job, or a project quote or a project job. Okay, so it's very simple. Now, let me just show you how this works. So I'm just going to go over to the first ticket I have. Okay, so this is a very simple request. I need an installation of my site. This is just the description that I've added. And the Freshdesk to simPRO extension will be here. And you can see that there's a drop down here. And this is for the multi-company support. In the event that you don't have a multi-company, you will not see this. And this is the due date, which is used for quotes and for jobs. So I'm going to put 27th of September as the due date, and I'm going to create the quote. So you'll see a message, we're saying processing, and once it's done, you'll see a quote saying, quote created successfully on top, as well as the message log. Now if I open this quote, I can see that the customer linked to SyncEzy is there, as well as the site under the customer. If I open that and go into sites, I can see that there's already a site, so there must have been linked, and the description of the ticket will go into the notes part of the quote. And you also have the FreshBook ticket ID here, as well as the setup. You also have to add this custom field here, and you can see that the due date's been added. So it is very simple. We just capture some basic information, which is the customer, the site, the description of the ticket ID, and the ticket due date. Okay, so I also have the option to convert the quote to a job. So in the event that there's a quote there already and I click on create job, it'll attempt to convert this quote. Now, so I'm going to click on create a job. It says processing, converting, and you can see it's created. And I'm going to go to simPRO and see. So it has the same settings, and you can see the same converted quote 1612 to job. This is also being converted, and the due date is the same as the ticket ID is the same. Now I also have the option to directly create a job. So I'm going to refresh the ticket, and one thing you should note is that you'll always have the option to directly link the quote and the job over here. Okay, so what needs to happen is that you need to have a valid quote number or valid job number in order to link this. Okay, now what I can do is that I can also remove the quote number and the job number. And I press on update. Now I need to refresh the page in order for the changes to be reflected. So now it's empty, so I can see that the quote link has gone and the job link has gone. So if I just type 1612 here and click on update, you'll see that it has linked the quote. Now if I enter a quote number which is not valid, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to directly create a job, and I will reload this, and I'll open Freshdesk to simPRO, and I'm going to create a job. And you can see this processing, and that's created the job directly as a surface job as per my settings. So you can see the same site has been linked, the same customers will be linked, and the description's there. I didn't put a due date, so the due date's not there, but the ticket ID is there. Okay, so these are your options. You can create a quote, you can convert the quote to a job, or you can create a job directly, or you can link an existing quote or job as long as the quote number is valid. So let me demonstrate how it works for customers who have not been found. I'll just go to the customer section. I'll look for support 9999 at SyncEzy.com, and I wouldn't be able to find it. So I don't have any customers here. So now my settings say that I have to create a company customer. So I'm going to create a quote, and I'll put 21st as the date, and I will push create quote, and you can see that the quote has been created. I'm just going to show you an example of how it works with a new customer. So if I see this support 999 at SyncEzy.com, and I would not be able to find it because it's not here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this. I'm going to create a quote today, and I'm going to click on create the quote. So you can see it's creating the customer in simPRO. It's creating and has completed successfully. Now it's created the quote as well. So I go to this. So it's created a new customer for me called support SyncEzy new. Okay, so this is a company customer as per my settings here. Okay, so since there is no site, the default site that has been associated with the customer, and you can see the same thing here, the description, the due date, the ticket ID, and the new customer, plus the new default site has come in. So this is how it would work in the event that I cannot find the email of the contact in Freshdesk. If I cannot find the email in simPRO, now for my last example, I'm going to show you how it works for multi-company. So I have here is I take here the multi-company example SyncEzy. This example for multi-company ticket. So I should be able to find the support at syncezy.com user in simPRO. So what I'm going to do is select Zoho Dev up the top here, and which is the new company. I'm going to select 21st of September. I'm going to click on Create Quote. Okay, it's processing. Now it's been created. Let me open this up for you so you can see that it's now come through into the second company and not Zoho simPRO, which was that original company that we used that I had linked. And you can see that the customers are here along with the site that they had wanted. And the new data has come in and the ticket ID has come in. So this is a short overview of how our Freshdesk to simPRO widget works. If you've got any questions, you can always write to us at support@syncezy.com, or you can call us. We've got 4 different support phone numbers to call. And you can also reference our documentation in case you have any issues or need help in setting up. We're glad to assist you where we can. Thank you.